Brooklyn Independent Television.
The NYPD's Stop, Question, Frisk policy has been hotly debated in the media, on the streets, and now in a state appellate court, where two separate stop and frisk incidents that actually resulted in getting illegal handguns off the street were recently overturned because the officers did not have sufficient cause to search the 14-year-old gun toters. On Brooklyn Independent Television's Brooklyn Elected Officials, District Attorney Charles Hynes spoke with State Senator and Borough Presidential hopeful Eric Adams, where they gave us some law and order insights into stop and frisk.
You've been one of the most outspoken critics of stop and frisk in New York City, and you're familiar, of course, with Commissioner Kelly's challenging the City Council at a hearing. Well, give me an alternative. And of course, there were a lot of editorial writers who said that he didn't get an effective alternative. What would be your alternative?
Well, and that's a key term, effective, because the term effective is really based on one's opinion on what they think is important and not as important. First, we need to say stop and frisk is not a bad policy in itself. It's a great policy. I use it as a police officer, and I supervise cops who use it as, when I was a captain, who use it as police officers.
If it's followed as a legal principle.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not the use of stop and frisk, it's the abuse of stop and frisk, and we have abused it. The alternative to dealing with the issue of crime, one, go back to faith-based initiatives. Get the clergy and other community-based organizations involved in crime. Two, put the money back in programs like some of the programs that you have done. These are real programs with track records from prestigious organizations that show they are successful. What we want to do, and I think is the wrong way to go, we believe that there is an instant remedy to dealing with the social issues that leads to crime. We can't just continue to put handcuffs on 11-year-old children. We have to find a way to make them productive members of society. I agree it's not the police job to be social service employees, but it is their job to fit into the overall fabric of how do we create an environment where young people are not criminalized at a young age. So when they're 17 and they stop and frisk and they're arrested for carrying a joint, when they become 21 and try to become an employee at American Express, that arrest is on their record. And that will prevent them from being productive members of society, and that's not the society that we want.
And effective stop and frisk is supposed to follow a legal principle that if you feel or if you have reasonable grounds to believe that someone might be involved in criminal conduct, you can stop them. And if during the course of a conversation with that person you feel some threats, you can then frisk. But of course, I'm told by so many people that it's stop and frisk, get up against the wall and submit. And
that's what we went off track with the stop and frisk program. It's not the good stop when you see someone that you believe is committing or has committed a crime, or when you're looking for a crime pattern in a particular area. The bad stops, which are the overwhelming number of stops, is when you tell an officer at the beginning of the night, you will come in with 10 stop and frisk, no matter if the person did a crime or not. And many officers are upset over this. So right. The quota-driven system of the process is what's hurting the process.
And you've recommended police officers give a identification card to someone who was stopped?
Well, that was one of my colleagues, Jamani Williams. That was a bill that he proposed in the city council. Right. I support that concept. I support also giving the people some form of receipt. I think we have to start identifying those officers who are abusing the process and those supervisors who are having officers abuse the process, because officers don't want to do this. Officers that I know and that I've policed with, they want to go out and catch bad people. They want to catch people who commit predatory crime like rape and robbery and burglary. They don't want to harass innocent citizens. That is not what we go into policing for. And if you would speak with the countless number of officers, they'll tell you the same thing.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at brickartsmedia.org/BIT.